the end of the winter, I got my boat out, started it right here in a barrel, and I noticed that there was some leaking around the old VRO fuel pump. So I got rid of that. And what I did was replace it with this little simple pump. This only pumps fuel. The VRO pumped and mixed oil and fuel. So now I have to mix my oil and my fuel in one of those tanks down there. I've got a couple of them. There's the other one over there. And I don't mind doing that. There's a safety factor. If a self-mixing motor should happen to lose its mixing ability, you could blow up the engine, you could burn up the engine. So I was having trouble after changing that pump when I actually took it out on the water. I would go at high speed for a little bit, and then it would bog down, and I'd have to back off for a while. And then when I started back up on the high speed again, it would work just fine for a little bit. It would bog back down. Something was plugging up my fuel system. I changed tanks. I used that tank over there for a little bit, and that didn't seem to do it. So what I decided to do was to check all these lines. This is where the fuel comes in. Right here it comes in and goes through here. And it goes through this filter. And the filter was nice and clean. Then it has to go through the pump. And from the pump it goes into this little manifold. So this main fuel line from the pump goes through this manifold right here. This manifold, 3 small tubes, go to one carburetor and the other carburetor and this little primer hose over here. This goes to the primer that helps it start when it's cold. I cleaned all of those out. None of them were actually dirty. Then I took the big step of removing these carburetors. I have 2 of them. I completely disassembled them and cleaned them. I didn't need to do that. Everything was nice and clean inside there. You take that off, and down inside there, you get a small screwdriver. You remove the primary jet. I looked through this one, and it had a nice big opening. I could see all the way through. I tested it with a light. And then I did the same thing to the lower one. This is the lower carburetor. I did the same thing with this one, and I could barely see through that one after it had soaked in carburetor cleaner for 20 minutes or so. And so I ran a wire through it, and it opened right up, and now I can see lots of light through there. I think the only thing I needed to do while this was all still assembled was to take that off, go in there with a screwdriver, pull that out of there, clean that primary jet, put it back, and I would have been fine. As it stands, both carburetors have been completely cleaned on the inside, and I'm kind of glad I did that. I don't have to worry about it later. The little bolt right there, you take it off, and then underneath inside, you find a screwdriver that fits perfectly. You get it in there tight, and then you can remove the jet. And if you clean that jet, that could solve all your problems. Eventually, I'll order a couple of rebuild kits and replace all the little gaskets and needle valves that are inside of here. Right now, I think it's going to work fine. We'll see. Right now, I'm going to take advantage of having this all disassembled and clean up some of this gunk in here. It's kind of an oily mess. Nope. My Gunk Engine Bright heavy duty engine degreaser is empty. I'm going to try to do this with a little bit of carburetor cleaner. See how that works. That's a very good solvent. It's cleaning things right up. Okay, I'm glad I'm doing all this extra work. Mar que tienes, cielito lindo, junto a la boca. No se lo des a nadie, cielito lindo que a mí me... Voz de la guitarra mía, al despertar la mañana, quiere cantar su alegría a mi tierra mexicana. Mi querido, pero lejos de ti, que digan que estoy dormido y que me traigan aquí. Estoy dormido y que me traigan a ti, hijo lindo y querido, si muero lejos de ti. Que son como talismanes del amor de mis amores. And that's it there, all put back together. I'm missing one little nut, and I'm just going to go to the hardware store and replace that. I have 2 empty slots because I kept one out, so I'll have a sample to take with me. This was all very easy. It probably fell inside there or in the boat, and I just can't find it, but I will. So this is probably going to start, and that's all well and fine. That just means I got it back to where it was before I took the carburetors off. I won't know if it's working the way it's supposed to until I get it out on a lake and try to run it at very high speeds, because that's the only problem I had. It just wouldn't go really fast. Other than that, I spent days fishing in New York and Pennsylvania with no problem. I just couldn't go very fast. So you can't just start a motor up. An outboard motor has to have water running through it. These are rabbit ears. There's an intake there where out on a lake it takes in water here and on the other side. So we put these rabbit ears on with the hose. We'll turn that on, and when the water's going real good, then I can start this motor. But if you start it without that, you can damage your pump. You can damage the impeller on your pump. Okay, let's give it a try. So we have water. Let's see if she starts. I may have to pump the ball. To pump this ball here, make the gasket up in there. I can feel that it's up there. Sure, it's going to run real good. I just had it racing. So this is as fast as the boat would go when the carburetors were dirty. Let's see how fast it will go now. Now I was able to get it to go fast, but it would only last for 150 yards or something. Now, this is not my top speed, but I don't want to go top speed. I got people in the boat, and we are going as fast as we need to go. working really, really good. I'm very pleased.